Okay, it looks like we're live here. Sorry for the delay, everyone. My first one of these. It's also late at night here. Welcome to the Wolverine.com reaction podcast. I am your host for this edition, Anthony Broom. You guys may know me from formerly of Mason Brew. This was my first week on the job at the Wolverine. You guys have seen me do some other stuff, but those guys, Clayton and Chris Ballas, are down in Lincoln right now. On their way to the press conferences. So you're stuck with me at the moment. We're going to start doing a bit of a reaction podcast after these games. And God, what a first week for me. First game. What a first game to have. Michigan wins 32-29. Let's call a spade, first of all. That was an outstanding football game. Extremely entertaining, obviously stressful for Michigan fans. You'd rather them just blow them out, take care of their business, put the kids to bed, pour yourself a drink, and just kind of enjoy the ride from there. But that wasn't what happened. Michigan was caught in I won't say it was a trap game. They do have a bye week coming up here, but it was a game where Nebraska has played very good football since the early stages of this season. That week 0 game against Illinois is not indicative of the type of team that Scott Frost has, and I think that they showed that really mostly in the second half on Saturday night. But this is a team that they were ready to play. That atmosphere it looked incredible. I can't wait to talk to Chris and Clayton about what they saw down there. So basically how these are going to work after the game, after the fact, these are going to be super loosey-goosey. While, you're going to get the podcast with, John Borton will talk to Ryan Van Bergen, and, we'll talk, Ballas will talk with Skeen, and we'll do some stuff throughout the week. But right now, this is your reactions. I'll pull up some comments here from Welch's McGee. Says, hey, we won. We have a couple weeks to rest the guys who got hurt today. Might be able to go to MSU with our O-line back and hopefully Roman back. That's, in a nutshell, that's kind of how it is. You had to get through this game. And anyone who listened to the post or the pregame show that I did with Clayton and Chris, I said I had a feeling this was going to be a game where you just had to figure out a way to get out of it. And that's what they did. What I'll do here is I will pull up the box score. Again, we're for those of you, some people will be listening after the fact. We are live on the Wolverine.com YouTube channel right now, and you'll hear the podcast after the game in our podcast feed. So be sure to just to subscribe to that. Let's get our box score pulled up here. So we'll go full screen with it. Michigan, of course, wins 32-29. Let's go through the game comparison here. Total yards. Michigan just barely out-edged Nebraska in this area, 459 total yards. 255 yards through the air. Cade McNamara was 22 for 38. Did not have a touchdown. Did throw a very costly interception. The first turnover of his career, or the first interception of his career. Only completed 58% of his passes. We'll talk about Cade in a bit here. They found a way. I think this might be the most impressive thing of the night. The run game, again, got better as the night went on, and they found a way to rush for 204 yards on the ground. Son Haskins, let's call it what it is, player of the game, 21 carries, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. Blake Corum had a huge play in this game, a 29-yard touchdown rush. He was able to get up to 89 yards on 13 carries. We've kind of seen that backfield dynamic shift here a little bit since the early going in the season, but nice little game for Dalen Baldwin. 6 catches, 64 yards. Blake Corum, 5 catches, 37 yards. Cornelius Johnson chipped in with 4 catches for 37 yards. Mike Sainer still had a huge grab in this game, a 48-yard reception. He was 2 catches for 52 yards. Luke Schoonmaker, 2 catches, 29 yards. Eric All, 2 for 26. And Joel Honigford, 1 catch for 10 yards. Michigan had 26 first downs in the game compared to 20 for Nebraska. 6 for 15 on third down. No fourth down attempts this week. Michigan ran 81 plays in this game. That's insane. I don't know if you guys watched Red River on Saturday, but 81 plays. That's like on pace with what those teams were doing. So really good job going on long drives, finishing drives. Really nice job there as well. 5.7 yards per play, 11.6 yards per completion. Let's go in some of the big numbers. Michigan was 6 for 6 in the red zone tonight. That's your ball game. That's your ball game right there. Nebraska was 2 for 3. Michigan had the time of possession advantage, 33 minutes to 25 for Nebraska. Michigan won the turnover battle. 2 costly turnovers from Adrian Martinez. Other than that, 1 sack for Michigan, 1 for Nebraska. 5 tackles for loss, 3 tackles for loss for Nebraska. Just across the board, this was one of those games, like I said, they just had to find a way to get through it and get out of it unscathed, and they did. I thought we'll just go kind of position by position here. I didn't think that Cade McNamara was great tonight. I thought he left some opportunities on the field, but the thing about him was, while he didn't play awesome, when they needed him to make a throw on third down or some of those critical situations, he did it. And right now, I mean, that's kind of the thing that keeps him, that kind of gives him the leg up on JJ McCarthy, is that they know that he's going to lead a scoring drive. 6 for 6 on the night in the red zone. That's what you want. He runs the offense, and I get it that he's a game manager and people want to see JJ McCarthy. I think the way that they use JJ McCarthy, we started to see, I mean, he played, what was it? The 6th, his first snap of the game was the 6th snap of the game. So they're still looking at ways to get him involved early and often now. Now, the thing with him, when I go back and look at the statistics here, JJ McCarthy, 3 carries for 10 yards. They did what we thought they would start doing with him. They're getting him involved in the quarterback run game, as my dog busts into the room here. They're getting him involved there. And I think at some point, now that we know that's how they want to use him, they got to do some other things with that, because what we've seen from them is it's starting to become predictable. You saw it on that third down run at the end of the game. They knew JJ McCarthy's on the field. He's going to keep the ball. He's going to try and run up the left sideline. They didn't let that happen. It actually made your field goal attempt even more difficult, which, let's talk about Jake Moody for a second too. Got to pull up his numbers from the game. Jake Moody, 4 for 4 tonight on field goals. Good from 35, 21, 31, and 39. That's a clutch game from him. You can't ask much more than what you're getting out of Jake Moody right now. So let's talk about the defense. The defense, call spade a spade, in the second half was bad. It was a bad showing. The linebackers didn't play well. They gave up 22 points in that third quarter, but to their credit, and this is what good defenses do, this is what well-coached and resilient defenses do, is that when you have stars on that side of the ball, you have Aiden Hutchinson, you have Daxton Hill. Both those guys did their part tonight, especially Daxton Hill at the end. Sometimes you just have to survive. You can bend but don't break. You have to make a play. And Michigan was able to survive the Rutgers game without, with their defense making a play at the end. They sealed the win last week against Wisconsin with some of the turnovers and really, knocking Graham Mertz out of the game and kind of putting your foot on the gas pedal there. We were hoping those things come in threes, right? So they were able to get the job done in that area. Really nice job from the defense. So here's what we'll do. Now that I've had my little spiel here, and again, of course, because I'm new to this place. Name's right there in the corner, Anthony Broom. First week on the job. First win on the job. That's awesome. Just a really well-played football game on Saturday night. So here's what we'll do. We'll go to the chat now because people are sending stuff in live. I'm going to take some questions here. The first we'll take is from Theodore Frazier, who says, has the goalpost moved from Michigan? And I think what he means by that is, you come into this season, I think Vegas is over under was 7.5. You're 6-0. So by definition, if you're someone who took the under on that, they have to go 1-5 down the stretch. So I don't think that's going to happen. Under bettors, sorry, it kind of looks like you're screwed. But have the goalpost move? Yes, in that. So for me personally, preseason prediction wise, I had this team at 8-4. I thought heading into this game Saturday night, they would be 3-2. I picked them to lose to Washington. I picked them to lose at Wisconsin. Obviously, those two things turned to win. So simple math would say, okay, now the floor for this season, based on what my predictions were, was 10-2. And I think now what we're kind of seeing is, first of all, they're bowl eligible now. That's a nice little milestone after how they played last year. This is an undefeated football team, and they go into a bye week at a really critical time now. Again, I said it all week. Things get weird, and things have gotten weird for Michigan football when they've gone and played night games in a cornfield. And this was Iowa 2016. It's pretty well stated at this point what happened there. This game was sketchy for a while. And I loved what Cade McNamara said at the end of the game. He told whoever was interviewing on the field, I believe it was Molly McGrath, he goes, I'm not going to lie. In my time here, other Michigan teams would have lost that game. And this is a group that he says is a special group. It's a resilient group. And so far, the eyeball test bears that out. They've faced adversity in that Rutgers game when things fell apart in the second half. They faced adversity at the end of the first half at Wisconsin and came out of the locker room and counterpunched and was able to find a way to get a win there. So what you're looking at now is this sets up, and we didn't expect this to happen from the other side, but Michigan State 6-0 too. And both of those teams are going to have a bye week before that October 30th game. Let's call it as we see it here. Michigan's going to go into a bye week. They have some injuries now. Roman Wilson, some of those guys, they were playing a couple backup guards on Saturday night. They're going to go into this into the bye week, need to get healthy, need to rest up a little bit. Those bumps and bruises, lay in the ice bath, whatever it takes. And then you're going to play Northwestern, who is one of the worst teams, not only in the Power 5, but maybe in all of FBS right now. That's a win. So assuming, I think Michigan State gets Indiana next, your season, and I can't say this because both teams, both Michigan and Michigan State at this point have proven that it looks like they're both going to be playing meaningful, contending November football. But Michigan's season to me, and this is where it comes back to moving the goalpost, I think that Michigan State game is a must-win, period. No questions asked. That's where we're looking at. Regardless of how good Michigan State is, I think if that game was played today, I think I might give MSU the slight edge there, but it's going to be a battle. And that I can't think of a game between those two teams that has had so many potential short and long-term ramifications. I mean, that is going to be massive on so many fronts. But yeah, the goalpost now, I mean, we thought this would be a team that would fight to get to 7 or 8 wins. They might have 8 wins before it's November. So that's, if you're 7-1, 8-0 going into November, you are playing for the chance to go to Indianapolis and play in a Big Ten title game. Expectations change. They do. Now, is this me saying that they need to go out, that they're going to go out and beat Ohio State and that's the expectation? It's too early to say that. But right now, I think the floor on this team has gone from what people were saying was 6 or 7 wins to, I really do think when you go through the schedule, at worst, this is probably a 9-win football team. And at best, might be a team that can go into that last November or that last weekend in November undefeated with a chance to do something special. So it's pretty, the goalposts have moved. So absolutely they have. This is from Morgan H. And sorry, these are coming in fast. So thank you, people who are watching live on the YouTube channel. We will do these on Saturdays after games moving forward. And this will also be available as a recording after the fact on our podcast feed. So be sure to look up thewolverine.com, wherever you're able to get your shows. But this question is from Morgan H. This says, Anthony, does this count as a quality win for U of M? Absolutely it does. It doesn't look pretty. And, at a certain point, you go through and you look at, you just kind of have to burn the tape. I mean, you don't burn the tape. You want to go in and make corrections and learn from things that went wrong in the second half on defense, because this is the most explosive offense that Michigan has seen so far. And it's going to get more explosive. Michigan State, it seems like all they do is score 50-yard touchdowns. Ohio State, we know what they are. Maryland has an element of explosion to them, but I don't think they're anything close to what we thought they would be before the season started. This is a quality win because we said it all along. Coming off a big win last week, big emotional win. That really was a monkey off of Michigan's back, what they were able to do at Wisconsin. So to go in, you go on the road again against a team. I mean, Nebraska is a better football team than Wisconsin is, and probably a much better football team. On the road at night with that fan base charged up, the Scott Frost factor. We know there's palpable hatred and saltiness over things that happened a quarter century ago still. This, to get out of there with a win, I don't care if it was 3-2. I don't care if it was what the Red River shootout was, 55-48 or whatever. A win was going to make this a quality win for Michigan. And you can look at the score and you say, oh, I think Michigan's much better than Nebraska. I don't like that it was that close. This is a quality win because of what happened inside of the game. Not what happened in the box score, but inside of the game. Michigan took so many punches tonight, especially in the second half, and they countered every single time. Michigan teams from last year aren't doing that. 2019, Michigan didn't do that really the first half of the year. This is an extremely quality win, and in a lot of ways, I think is more of a program win for them than what they were able to do last week. Absolutely. This is from Welch's McGee. He says, why didn't Roman play? Was it an injury in practice or last week's game? There is conflicting stuff out there on that. I can, based on what I know, it sounds like it was a practice injury. I think there's a chance that they can get him back before Michigan State. So that could be good. Good to see the wide receiver step up in general. Dalen Baldwin, again, I know he's coming from an FCS school and background, but that's a guy who's really starting. He's not just J.J. McCarthy's garbage time touchdown target anymore. He might be their number one receiver right now. And that's, he made some big catches and big plays on Saturday night. So that guy is, Mike Sainer still had a key drop early on, but I thought played better as the game went on. Cornelius Johnson, at this point, it just kind of feels like we know what they are. So good resilience by them. I would really like to see more out of AJ Henning, but God, can you just field a punt? Be a good start, right? So let's keep scrolling through here. Dave Larman, I think him and Ross Hickson are having a comment here, or having a conversation in the comments, but he says, is MSU playing with smoke and mirrors? I'll answer that. I don't think so. At some point, like we've talked about now how Michigan State, like Northwestern's bad, and Miami isn't as good as people thought they would be. But that was a team that put their boots on the throat of all of these teams, similar to how Michigan did in the early part of the season. I think when you have 6 games of proof of explosive offenses and things like that, I think I don't think that's smoke and mirrors for them. They have to do some flea flicker stuff and some weird things to generate explosive plays, but I think that team's for real. Sorry, this is what happens when you do it live. Another one from Theodore Frazier. It says, I like Cade, but I feel like the long-term better QB1 is McCarthy. Can we afford to go into next season with another quarterback battle? If both guys stay, I think that's Michigan operating out of a place of power. I would certainly think, though, it would be nice for them to figure out who their starting quarterback is for 2022 by the end of this year. And, when I see JJ's playing a little earlier every week, and I feel like there's a plan for him. And I don't know what they're going to do with him over the bye. I don't think that Cade's in danger of losing his job, so to speak, but I think Michigan's going to keep trying to find ways to play him more. And they should, because he's one of their, at any given time, he might be one of their most talented 11 players on the offensive side of the ball. So, that's tough. Next year's next year. I think the better question is, can they afford to do the roulette thing the rest of this season without settling on someone? Like for me, if you're going to bring JJ McCarthy into the game and he's going to do the QB runs and he's going to hand the ball off, he should probably just be in the game, right? Cade is a game manager. I think it's pretty well established at this point. He's not going to be Baker Mayfield. He's not going to be Zach Wilson, but he's going to lead an offense and he's going to lead drives. And he's going to make, some good throws. He's going to miss on a few. JJ, there might be higher variance in his play right now. He might rope a 65-yard touchdown and then come back and throw a boneheaded interception or make a freshman mistake. Until gaps like that close, and something I think that Cade's done really well, and I talked about this last week, is he's done a really nice job of evading pressure in the pocket. He's got a nice feel for where the rush is coming from and when to get the ball out. Those are the type of things that they need to see more from JJ for him to get on the field and be the guy at quarterback. So Kofi says, just found this stream on YouTube. Can you post links to your live streams on the Wolverine as well? I had no idea you were doing a post-game live stream. Yeah, this is new. Bringing a little bit of a modern flair, so to speak. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's something new we're trying. We will post them. This is going to be a thing that we do after the games. This week it was kind of, okay, so full disclosure, the laptop that I'm supposed to have for the Wolverine is not here yet. It will be here Monday. So you're doing some different things tonight with the live stream. And obviously with a late game and those guys are on the road, I'm here at home. It's a little different this week. So here's what we'll do. Okay, I'm gonna table the rest of the YouTube comments for now. We're gonna go over to Twitter and take some of your guys' reactions. Again, we're doing it live here. That's why it's not as polished a product. We will just, here's what I'll do. For the people on YouTube, I will share the screen. Boom. There we go. So we'll just kind of read them together here. This one's from Hoover Street Rag. People missed it because of the football game, but there are some nice parallels between tonight's hockey game and the football game, especially with senior leaders stepping up and leading the team to victory. This one's from Tom Green. Michigan, we aren't world beaters. Defense must adjust to opposition's adjustments. JJ needs more snaps. Both Michigan and Michigan State will be undefeated going into that game, but a win is a win, and a good road win it was. Joel tweeted the Cade McNamara video from after the Rutgers game last year. It's not safe for work, not safe for podcasts. You go listen to that on your own. Blake Gober, surviving a situation like that reminds me of Iowa. Good practice for at Penn State. Get healthy, rest, beat Northwestern. Jacob Sherba, there's a resolve in this team that hasn't been there in recent years. Each phase of the game lifting the other up in tight spots when the other fell short. Imperfect, certainly things to work on. 6-0. Derek Smith, previous Harbaugh teams lose this game. It seems inevitable that we will lose some games eventually, but back-to-back wins on the road in hostile environments feels good for now. I agree with that. And I'm going to stop there for a second because that's where I feel like these are kind of program wins. And we talk about a reset coming off of this offseason where there's so much new with tweaks to the offensive staff, Harbaugh's new contract, a change in mentality in the program, a complete overhaul of the defensive side of the ball. Listen, I don't think this team's winning the Big Ten East this year. I don't think they're going to go 12-0. I'm not sure they'll go 10-2 yet. But what we're seeing is a callus being built and guys that are going out and getting experience and learning how to fight and getting better by playing football and playing it hard, playing with good energy, making plays. I mean, this is all good to see. This one's from Andrew Fine. This is not now that we've trailed in the game and Cade has thrown an interception. I'm just wondering what announcers will talk about in between plays. Yeah, they've got a week to figure it out, though. Even though this is from Chris Huckle. Even though Scott Frost is 3-4 on the year, the real impressive record is he is 6-1 in moral victories this year because they always out-hit their opponent. A win is a win. Going to the bye 6-0. Yeah, here's a stat for you. Scott Frost teams are now 4-11. Scott Frost teams at Nebraska. Let me correct myself. They're now 4-11 after winning a game. So they don't win 2 in a row very often. So that Michigan had that going for them too. David Noe says this team showed some grit, something we haven't seen in past years in tough road games, especially at night. And Cade alluded to that after the game. Josh Arnold, Michigan took Nebraska's best game of the season and still won it on a night game in primetime. I'd say this was a huge win for Michigan. It has Iowa 2016 vibes to it, but this time the team took each hit and made the best plays when it mattered. Parker says, need Roman Wilson back. Rich also, though, so thankful it's over. That Nebraska attack is different than anything else we will see. Let's get back to a normal offense. We'll take the last two here from Drew Bowen and Jose Sanchez. First from Drew, this Michigan culture truly is different. Coaching staff need to commit to their young star QB to unlock the offense. Too many plays left on the field. Cade is very smart, but simply not good enough. Jose says, it feels so weird to not tweet out, it was a bad day to have a bad day after an inevitable loss. Feels pretty good. Yeah, not a bad day, right? Not a bad win. You love to see it. We're going to, here at the Wolverine, we are going to put a bow on game coverage. We'll do some reaction stuff. We'll do some analysis. Start cleaning this up. Going into a bye week, a lot of things to talk about. I'll continue to see if I can hit a stride here as a contributor. It's been a very busy week. I want to thank everyone for the kind words of support, for watching this. I mean, 222 people watching live after midnight on a Saturday is pretty special. But I think people are fired up over this game. You should be. Don't apologize for wins in this house, especially this house. We don't apologize for wins here. Michigan 6-0. They fought. They took punches. They had some knockout blows of their own. I don't know, when you get into a game like that, for it to end the way that it did, I don't know what more you could ask for. So things to clean up for sure. Mistakes were made. You can follow me on Twitter at Anthony T. Broom. Follow the Wolverine. We're everywhere on social media. We're everywhere where you get our shows. And if you're still here on the live reaction show, hit the subscribe button below. We want to get those numbers up. So we'll be doing more of this stuff as the season goes on. But for now, going to get back to work. Going to start breaking this one down with my fellas in the trenches here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for helping out with your reactions, your questions. We'll clean this one up and see you in 2 weeks after a hopeful win over Northwestern. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.